You're listening to The Alex Jones Show. From his Central Texas Command Center, deep behind enemy lines, the information war continues. It's Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight, your host for this last hour. We're going to go back to our callers who've been patiently holding. We've been talking about the Jade Helm exercise. And, of course, there's a very important article put together by Paul Joseph Watson and Alex Jones pushing back against the straw man arguments that are being made in the mainstream media. You need to understand what is going on with this. This is, as the Gawker writer put it, a creeping fascism. This is something that has been going on for quite a long time. And this is a very lengthy article with links, with videos that shows that this is a long pattern of escalation that is now accelerating exponentially. So you need to pass this on to people because they are pushing back and creating, saying that this is going to be martial law enacted by the government in a couple of months, and soon everybody will see that we're just nonsense, conspiracy theorists here. That's not what we're saying. We're saying that this is an increasing training towards martial law, towards using the troops in America. And, of course, they're talking about how they're going to practice in civilian clothes within the population here so they're not detected. This is something we see them training for over and over again. Their training scenarios, their asymmetric warfare centers that they have in military bases. Now they're taking it out to the next level. They are planning these operations in the continental United States. This is not something that is going to help them. It would actually hurt them if they trained this kind of way and then presented themselves as Americans in a foreign country. You need to understand how this is being, who this is directed for, and how this has been escalated over the years. That's an excellent article. Look at that yourself. Pass that on to other people. Let's go to your calls right now. Doug in Minnesota. Doug?
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Doing good. Thank you for holding.
A couple things. As far as, everybody's saying, well, what can I do? What can I do? How many people across this entire country have printers in their house? If they go in and make up little flyers, they put them out for car washes, for everything else in this country that doesn't make a difference. If they go out and put it on there and just put Google this across the top and then put key points going down, everybody loves to Google. Generation lives on Google. And that's who we need to wake up as well.
Absolutely. And this article that we've got up at InfoWars right now that Paul put together with Alex Jones is very important because it already does a lot of the work for people. They don't have to Google or look that hard. It's all laid out there. They've got a lot of articles as well as videos that lay this history of what's been happening down for people. And I think it's an information war. It's very much an information war. So you have to get this out to other people because they're not referring to Alex. They just refer to some obscure right-wing host in Austin. They're not directing people to our website. I think it's important for people to see what we're actually talking about. Go ahead.
Sheriff Mack this morning, and I asked him, I says, how do you reach people just being a civilian? I says, and reach the police. He said, call your sheriff's department. See if you can go down there and talk to them. He said, if you can, bring a book with that he wrote. And he said, talk to them. And he said, in the first 3 minutes, you'll know if they're pro or not.
That's true.
Just by their attitudes.
Mm-hmm.
And, we got Homeland Security and Barack Obama put in people from the Muslim Brotherhood in key positions in Homeland Security. Doesn't that tell people anything? I know I didn't know about that till this morning.
Oh, absolutely. And if you look at their scenarios, what they're training for, I mean, it's there. It's right out in the open, but people just ignore it. They just dismiss it. Most people won't even bother to look up what the definition of unconventional warfare is. But yes, it's an educational issue. Stay with us. We're going to be right back. We're going to talk about some general news. There's some other stuff that's happening. Of course, it's a multi-pronged attack from many different areas. There's some important breaking health news that we're going to cover as well. But I still have some more calls I want to take on the Jade Helm exercise. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Friends, this is Alex Jones for MidasResources.com. For more than 15 years, I have exclusively used Midas Resources for all my precious metal needs. Whether it's bullion or collectibles you're looking for, Midas Resources is simply the best. I own my gold as a hedge against inflation. This Federal Reserve fiat currency could go the way of the Deutschmark and the Weimar Republic anytime. In these historically dangerous times, it makes sense to physically hold gold and silver. Midas already has some of the best deals in the industry. But if you give them a call and mention the radio special, they will give you a list of the day's super specials. Midas brokers are standing by to answer all your questions at 800-686-2237. They also have a lot of informative free literature explaining the opportunities and risk of holding precious metals. They are ready to answer your questions at 800-686-2237. Again, that's 800-686-2237. Alex Jones here. For the last 2 years, I've been working with top doctors, nutritionists, and chemists to design a nutraceutical formulation that has truly life-changing health benefits. So many other formulations out there contain toxic ingredients, synthetic additives, and even GMOs. Introducing the all-new Ancient Defense Herbal Immunity Blend, crafted with over 14 key ancient herbs and extracts to supercharge and prepare your body for what experts admit is the most dangerous season of the year. We have rejected hundreds of other formulations in our quest to bring you what is simply the most powerful and comprehensive proprietary formula that we have ever created in the realm of herbal immunity. Experience the benefits of combining over 14 ancient herbs and extracts with exciting new advances in nutraceutical science. For a limited time, get 25% off on this introductory offer. Visit InfoWarsLife.com or call 1-888-253-3139. That's InfoWarsLife.com.
If the IRS has garnished your paycheck or seized money from your bank account, you need to get professional tax help now. Fast action is required to put a halt to these aggressive IRS collection tactics. You can count on the knowledgeable team of tax professionals at Wall & Associates. With over 30 years of experience, Wall & Associates has settled the tax problems of thousands of taxpayers for a small fraction of what they owed. For a free face-to-face consultation, call 1-800-425-4610 to put a wall between you and the IRS. 1-800-425-4610 or look for us on the web at wallandassociates.net. We solve tax problems. If you hire Wall & Associates today, you'll never have to talk to the IRS again. To stop the levies and seizures today, take action now. Call Wall & Associates at 1-800-425-4610. Wall & Associates, 1-800-425-4610. Based on actual cases, results may vary, not a solicitation for legal services.
The Genesis Communications Radio Network proudly presents The Alex Jones Show, because there's a war on for your mind.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I want to go one more segment because we had so many people that have been on hold to talk about the Jade Helm exercise. I'm going to go right back to the callers. But before I do, there's a very important article that we just didn't have time to cover earlier. As we're talking about removing our informed consent, forcing mandatory vaccinations on people, talking about this whole idea of herd immunity. There is no such thing as herd immunity. If you don't have individual immunity, if these vaccines don't work, you don't have herd immunity. Here's a good case in point. This is an article from Adon Salazar. Students contract whooping cough at a school with a 99.5% vaccination rate. 99.5%. Now, this is in Salinas, California. They have a vaccination rate of 99.5%. Nevertheless, one of the kids who had been vaccinated came down with the whooping cough. And shortly thereafter, 3 or more of his or her fifth grade peers also acquired the disease. See, that's the way it breaks down. And so we need to have the ability, even if this was 100% effective. And I have to say that if it's safe and effective, we don't need things like the vaccine courts. And if they're going to stand behind their product and not have legal immunity from the federal government like they do through the vaccine court, then we can start to talk about that. But until they take that away, until they take away the legal immunity of the vaccine companies, you don't even need to talk to me or my family about mandatory vaccines. Mandatory any kind of health care treatment should be anathema to us all. We should understand that that was one of the key things that came out of the Nuremberg trials. The Nuremberg Code says you never take away people's informed consent. Never. Under any circumstances, for any reason whatsoever. And we need to make sure that we don't get talked down about with this nonsense about herd immunity. We know there's efficacy issues with these vaccines, but we also know there's a lot of safety issues with them. Well, I am informed, and you don't have my consent. I want to go back to our callers who've been patiently waiting on this last section of Overdrive. Let's go to Wayne in Texas. Wayne?
Yeah.
Hey.
Can you hear me, David?
I got you. Go ahead.
Hey, look, I was in the military back in 86 to 91. I was a tank mechanic at Fort Hood and also drove a M88 tow tank that towed the M1. We trained for desert training at Fort Irwin in late 89. We went back in, early 89. And then late 89, we went back again and trained. And then right before we went to Desert Storm, we went a third time. And on that third trip, I asked myself, what are we going back to desert training for a third time? So they were gearing up for all that, but they didn't let us know what was going on.
Yeah, they knew where they were going to go, and they've got a long list of the different countries in the Middle East that they wanted to take down. Wesley Clark put that out. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, they always gear up and train ahead of time. But what I saw yesterday, I live out here in Milam County, which is about 70 miles northeast of y'all there in Austin. And on the way into town, I saw 6 hardened Jeeps, Humvees, had the hard armored doors on them, coming up Highway 36. And when we went into a divided highway with 4 lanes, they decided to take the fast lane, and I couldn't see on their vehicles what unit they were with because the unit number is usually on the driver's side, so I couldn't get my eyeballs on that. But coming back from town, I saw another, I'm going to say about 8 vehicles, and these are like cargo carriers. They like they could carry a small container, you know, and so they're on a road march up toward probably Fort Hood, I'm guessing. But if you go down 36 to Rockdale and you shoot over to Highway 77, 77 runs right down to Bastrop.
Well, I think the main thing, Wayne, is that they want us, one of the objectives of unconventional warfare is to make sure that they get acquiescence and capitulation. If we can get used to massive military exercises targeting domestic cities, they've won. And most people don't realize that this is training that isn't going to serve them abroad. But I've walked through AP Hill. I've looked at their asymmetric warfare center where they're training for American cities. I stood with Joe Biggs on the corner of 1st and Main. I mean, they have an American city there that they're practicing on. It's not a foreign city. And we need to understand that the standing militaries have historically been used for tyranny at home. That's the way it has always gone throughout history. It is human nature. It is a very dangerous thing, and they're doing it right in front of our faces and hoping that we're going to just get used to it.
Well, yeah, you're right about that, and you know, I'm really wondering if this Bastrop fire had something to do with them getting set up down there. You know, if they were clearing out some areas or something, or maybe they wanted to burn that forest down so that nobody could sneak up on them and see what they're doing.
Well, who knows? But you know, people need to keep their eyes open, and once this thing actually starts in a couple of months, we are going to need to have a lot of citizen eyes on the ground reporting what they see. We need to put some heat and some some light on the county commissioners who have okayed this, who sent a letter of invitation. I think we need to be very involved, but we also need to educate them. We need to understand that a lot of them don't really understand how they're being played. So you need to come in with the approach that they really are trying to act in earnest and they just don't know what's going on, and try to show them the information. One of the best ways you can do that is with this article that Paul and Alex Jones put up, a very detailed article showing how this is a gradual progression. Thank you so much, Wayne. I want to get some of the other callers in this